Welcome back, everybody. I'm Sean LaFlock. I'm here with Scott Hagnes. This is Conversations, Fitness, Wellness, and Longevity. Scott, I hear you're in a cold snap.
Cold snap, yeah.
Oh, snap.
I thought we were going to
Cold.
skate through the whole winter without one, but nope, late February and boom.
Not so much.
It was 24, 25 outside, and we had 4 inches of snow 2 mornings in a row.
Good.
It melted during the day, didn't accumulate, but yeah, it was all 3 sketchy commutes so far this week.
We are unseasonably warm. We really didn't get a winter. I'm kind of well. We got maybe I mean, let's just put it this way: the month of February has been 15 degrees above normal.
Ooh.
Yep, and in January, so the new year, like the month of January, I didn't go to the beach once because it was so overcast. And usually when it's overcast, it's warm. You know what I mean? It's warm, and there's enough moisture in the air that, it's humid. So January and February this year, very mild, and that just means that I think we're just going to get crushed this summer. Because it's only about 3 weeks, 4 weeks until it starts getting hot.
Oh, wow. That close. Well, I'll take some of that. You can send that 15 degrees over this way.
Scott, I will give you as much as you want, man. So last week we were kind of tying up together the neural training, neural drive training, neural pathway training, from the Edge Effect, I think is the book, right? Braverman. Mm-hmm. And then we were kind of going into Christian Thibodeau's work on neural neural patterning, I guess you would say, or is it neural? Or
neurotransmitter dominance.
Neural typing.
Typing.
Okay.
Yep.
And we actually kind of finished off on a little bit of the neural recovery work. And I actually, that evening, looked through the articles on T Nation put out by Christian and Thibodeau, and also gave a few tries to that this week. And I know that you did too, Scotty, or have been a little bit too. You want to share a little bit of what was going on?
Yeah, well, I retook the Braverman test. I had taken it, it's like 3 years ago, and I was somewhat different answers that had changed. I couldn't remember any of the questions, so I don't think it was biased. And I came out much more dopamine dominant, which kind of fits with what I sort of knew. Dopamine and GABA, which are two opposite ends of the spectrum, kind of, but I was like, oh, that kind of was why I like fast, powerful, heavy stuff, but I also like a lot of stretching and mobility work, and it's like, and even long endurance work, I think.
Yep.
But knowing that I suffered a number of symptoms of dopamine deficiency lately, in particular, and also that was my big deficiency on the test.
Yep.
I implemented some of the neural recharge workouts.
Yep.
Or versions of them, and it's been pretty interesting. Like my numbers they've always been a little off on after recovery days. I mean, never bad, cool. But I'm like, how come I never see something that looks like recovery after doing recovery work?
And that's on your HRVs?
On HRVs, but also on like grip strength and other CNS indicators. And even generally subjective mood. It just doesn't happen. And I don't feel bad, and I kind of enjoy recovery work, but it's like doesn't do anything for numbers. And lo and behold, I felt a lot better. Days that I was tired, that would have been a rest day, and I would just assumed I should have been tired. I did a little neural recharge workout, and I had more energy, but not fatigued at all. Not like I stressed myself out. I just felt better. And one day, with late winter out here, it's hard to, I think everybody gets some level of depression starts sinking in, And I have not been as positive as I often am lately. And I really didn't go into the workout thinking that it was going to, change my pattern. But what I felt like in the morning to what happened later in the day after that workout was really quite night and day. It was really interesting. So maybe coincidence, maybe other factors, but so far for me anyway, it's really looked pretty positive.
That's awesome. And I've had actually some similar results from doing the neural drive work or the neural recovery work. I think the biggest thing is that on days that I would normally like do 10-minute bike, 10-minute row, I'm not motivated to do that. So there's one sense that says, eliminate the weakness, eliminate the the if it's something that you don't want to do, go and do it and smash that, or you can kind of listen to what your natural physiology wants to do. And if your natural physiology says, I don't want to run 30 minutes right now, and again, 20 minutes in, you're like, oh, all right, cool, I'm finally getting into it, and I get that adrenaline dump, and you're like, all right, I'm feeling good, and like you said, the following day you're not really recovered, versus taking a 4-pound med ball, excuse me, 4-pound med ball, and doing hard rotational ball slams. I'm instantly sweating. That's the one thing that I get right away, that I'm instantly sweating. Excuse me. Do some rotational ball slams, reverse ball tosses, ball slams, maybe a little heavier weight, some broad jumps, very low number of reps, 4 to 5. Went along with the protocol that Christian Thibodeau outlines on his videos through T Nation, in regards to not making it metabolic. If the reps start to becoming struggle or less explosive, drop it down. And literally, all I needed was 3 sets. And at that point, I'm like, I really don't want to do anymore. And then I would stop. Is that similar to what you were doing?
Yep. The first time I think I did only half the suggested volume. And that time it was honestly, I had, an appointment coming up. I had to stop. It was all the time I had. However, I would have stopped. I might have gone 12 minutes maybe or something, but I wasn't going to do that. My body didn't want to do 20.
Yeah, interesting. 10 minutes, all I needed. And I would take my time between exercises.
Yeah.
And make sure that my heart rate came down, and that the movements were explosive, and I took some time to actually stay relaxed during the movements, not getting overly tight. And just making them as fluid and as powerful and explosive and almost like punching somebody in the face as I could.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was it. And I felt good the next day. When I came in to do, even with maybe not the best sleep in the world, came in to do snatch work or clean work, and I was moving fluidly and not needing the 30 minutes of all right, I got to get moving and I got to do this. And it also gives you that sense of all you need is just move quick a couple times. And I'm telling you, after 4 ball slams per side, I know it's unseasonably warm, but I broke out into sweat like that. And, when you get on the bike for 5 minutes, I can't get into a sweat as quickly as I did by doing 4 ball slams per slide.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's just bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, wow, I'm already starting to sweat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I definitely think that you have to find movements that are appropriate for the individual. I really like trunk flexion movements. Closing is good for me. Hip extension stuff isn't nearly as good for me because I think naturally my hip flexors are short, and extension for me isn't quite as good. But getting down to that slam position, I really like. It also gives you the opportunity to gauge what your overall abilities are in that given day, because you can kind of objectively tell the height of your jumps, the length of your broad jump, that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, I did it. I came into the gym and I was working with an individual for a half hour, and I was like, you know what? Do I get a 40-minute training session in, or do I do a good 15-minute neural recovery workout? And I did about a 15-minute workout out in the sun, got a little vitamin D, did that. And then I had a coach, a clinic for about 90 minutes or so. And then I got my training session in after that. And I felt great. I put the weight on the bar and started moving. And I was like, all right, great. This is really all I needed to do, even after coaching for a little while. So I do believe that there's a lot of substance behind what's going on. I don't think it's just foo-foo or just all placebo. I definitely think that there's some good stuff going on. I just caution people to be really mindful when they're doing this, not to go too far. You said it, 10 minutes is all you needed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I only needed 10 minutes. But again, your mind goes, well, usually my recovery sessions are an hour. I'm like, well, they're really a workout.
Yeah. Yep. No, yep. I would agree. Yeah. It's a workout.
It's Z1 training. It's not recovery.
Yeah.
I think there should be a separation of that. So I think there's a time and a place
Yeah.
for everything. But overall, I think that I also will do a little bit of breathing work beforehand and then maybe a little breathing work afterhand,
Mm-hmm.
because if I do get any kind of like that sympathetic response during that neural recovery workout, I'll kind of turn back into sympathetic by doing a little bit of breathing work and kind of calming down and letting my body kind of loosen up again.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm starting to learn also the fact that like if you get into a sympathetic response, even if you're being explosive, that prevents your body from actually moving efficiently. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
tightened up, like you're about to be, ran over by a warthog, you're not really in a position to be explosive, to be
Right.
to be moving with proper mechanics either.
Absolutely. Yeah. You need to tone that down. I typically would do a couple quick breathing sets, a couple of controlled articulations kind of through the
Yep.
body, and then
Yep.
get into it, and then maybe finish with some breathing again. But one thing I've really tried to do on all my explosive stuff is really, we know maximal contraction happens paired with maximal relaxation. So if I'm
Yes.
going to do a lateral slam to the wall or something, I am shaking my body up, making sure all the tension's gone, and then I
Mm.
gather and I breathe as much as I possibly can for a moment. Same thing with the jump. I have kind of this couple second ritual almost of like body scan for
Yeah.
maximal relaxation, and then I punch and
That's
go.
such a great thing to think about is maximal relaxation before maximal tension. I love that little idea. It's funny because I was
Yeah.
I was talking to my fiance Laura, and she's actually doing some work with the FAU softball team as a consultant and working with a lot of their players, and because she has background in working with particularly baseball players and pitchers and doing corrective exercise and that kind of stuff. But one of the players in particular that she was having issues with is a pitcher, and when she was tensioned and tight, her rib cage was high, her pitches lacked power. So literally all she said is
Mm.
like, all right, listen, all I want you to do is take a breath all the way out. And this kind of connects to exactly what you're talking about. You've got to get relaxed before you can generate that explosive tension. And then all of a sudden it was like a different person. And it's funny, she also went to the game, and the athlete had kind of forgot about it a little bit. And she reminded her as she stepped up to the plate, like, just breathe, relax. And then all of a sudden she hit a home run. Like, it couldn't have been written any better than that. So
Yeah.
I love that the way you put that. That's such a good thing to think about.
Yeah, it's yeah, and the nice thing about those workouts, they can progress at a pace where you can take the moment to really hone that in.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Did you find that after like one set or so, like it started kind of clicking a little bit more, and then it would get
yeah,
to like a peak, and then it's like, all right, if I go any more, it's going to drop off.
yeah, yep. First round or two, you're kind of, I mean, probably still warm. The nervous system isn't firing fully, and then you are expressing full power. But then beyond, for me, I don't have a lot of juice in the battery, it seems. Like I will fatigue that nervous system, not necessarily perceptibly. And I know this because I've been doing a lot of explosive work in other sets too. I haven't done this in the neural recharge workouts, but I've been doing maximal vertical jumps off the jump mat and single leg ones, and I've been doing jump squats and speed deadlifts with the push bands where I can track wattage and the speed. And uh, I have about 3 good sets ramping up. If I'm lucky, I can hold out a fourth set, and then the wattage and power always begins to tail off. Not a lot.
Mm.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't notice it visually. You can't feel it yourself, but it seems to be very routine. So I absolutely am sure that's probably happening through all the other things that I'm not measuring. Going through like a workout like that, there's only so much, and then it begins to diminish.
Yep. Um, the other thing that we have working upon us now, Scott, is the CrossFit Open. The 2018 CrossFit Open is now here, and I think this is probably our second year, maybe even our third year-ish. I think second year at the very least, of
Yeah.
us kind of
We've
going
been
through the.
through a couple opens. Yeah, it's probably the third open. It's not three
Yes,
full years, but yeah.
yes. So um, we've talked about some of the changes that they made in terms of the number of teams, the teammates that they're doing. So they're doing a team of 4, 2 guys, 2 gals. You know, we've already seen from years prior, and the fact that they're repeating it this year, the use of dumbbells. I like the fact that I respect the fact that they threw a curveball. They said, okay, this is going to be the change to the dumbbell snatch standard, and then all of a sudden gave you dumbbell clean and jerks. So just, if you were preparing with dumbbells, make sure you're doing all types of different stuff. So again, if you're well versed in not only kettlebell work but dumbbell work, this should not be a surprise for you and shouldn't be too hard to adapt to doing it. Mm-hmm. And then the other standard that they changed up a little bit that we didn't see first week, but you will see, is a burpee standard where you may not step up or step down. It's a 2 feet up and 2 feet down.
Yeah.
Do you think that changes things a bit there, Scott, for that? Or do you think it's just something that people are just going to adapt to?
I think most people will be able to adapt fine. I mean, I think that where the burpee is going to trip people up is folks that have performed thousands and thousands of reps stepping up or back. And we all know how the brain kind of shuts off a little bit and you go autopilot when you get into deep fatigue. How many people are going to no rep? Maybe lots of times in a workout, not because, they're failing at, capacity to complete the movement. It's just that old motor pattern that's so dominant is going to come back. Now, I'm not into the open, but I've always done, nearly always, except when I get into pure survival mode, I've always done 2-footed burpees. So it would suit me just fine. I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, when it comes to a burpee box jump over, it helps me pace more to step up. Mm-hmm. But I've always done burpees jumping up, 2 feet, 2 feet, and it goes back to my wrestling career, sprawling and stuff like that. So I have a little bit of a background in that kind of stuff. I was wrestling since I was 8th grade, but so the first workout did come out, and I didn't get to see the entirety of the announcement, but I noticed that Sam Briggs and Krista Holta. And Krista's a Invictus athlete. She's visited our gym before. She's a fantastic athlete. I've met Sam before. She's a great person as well. And she's 35, 36 years old now, and she's still at the top of her game metabolically. There's very, very few women who can test her metabolically in a strictly metabolic workout. So the workout itself that they did was a AMRAP for 20 minutes of 8 toes to bar, 5 dumbbell hang clean and jerks per arm, and for the ladies it was 35, gentlemen are 50, and then a 12-calorie row for the ladies, 14 for the gentlemen. So before we kind of reveal what Sam and Krista Holta did, what are your thoughts on that workout?
Well, definitely pure metabolic engine for the most part. Mm-hmm. I've judged 2 folks already as of this Friday morning recording, and so I've seen the workout completed by 3 different groups at this point.
Yep.
And it doesn't seem like anybody's getting bottlenecked very much. So it's for some the toes to bar slow a little bit, but the dumbbell clean and jerks are within a realm where people can generally keep moving. And obviously the rower can present a rest, or it can be another workstation. But the nice thing is, if it's your rest station, at least you're doing work while you're resting. Mm-hmm. That's actually counting toward you. But I actually like the workout. I almost want to do it, even though I'm not doing any of that sort of training at the time being. But and
I agree, it's one of those workouts that you could do without much training, and you wouldn't be just destroyed from it. You're not doing, what was it, 150 alternating dumbbell snatches with burpee box jump overs. I think this is a lot nicer introductory to the open, and it makes me scared shitless because you know something's going to come down the pipeline where it's just going to, the swing of the pendulum is going to come back and it's going to smash people in the face. I'm on the same boat with you. I think there's not overly technical components of this. I think if you've been in the game for this long now, you know that your toes to bar are going to be very good. For those of people who aren't as technically proficient in toes to bar, they're going to break them up into 2 sets relatively early. Depending on the individual, they might actually do 2 sets right from the beginning if they're not comfortable stringing together those sets. The dumbbell hang clean and jerk, not a weight that's going to be too crazy. Some people might get tripped up by not deadlifting the dumbbell first and then going into the hang. Other people might use that free hand on their thigh or whatever it might be. I do like that it's a hang and it's a lot less taxing on the lower back. And then the last thing is for the workout, the row. I think when it comes to elite athletes, let's say top 200 within a region, the difference between those athletes is going to be the row pace. As a bonus, transitions, how close is your equipment together, how quickly you can get in and out. Because if you notice, Krista Holta, I noticed she did not pull her straps down as she got in. So I don't know, maybe it saves a second. But over 20 minutes, and they did 12 rounds, that's 12 seconds just by not putting your feet in. If all things considered, you're not sacrificing your row pace.
If you're a decent rower for that length of a row, you probably really shouldn't need to strap in, right?
Minute, doesn't matter.
It's quick, yeah. Yep, totally agree. That's going to be the separator because everyone's going to do the toes to bar at the same speed, roughly, and the same with the dumbbell work, really.
Exactly. I think the toe to bar are definitely fine. I think the dumbbell, you can maybe push it a little bit, but the problem is then you got to get on the rower. And I think if you push it on the dumbbell, then you get on the rower, and then you're going to have to recover instead of slamming those paces on the row. So I believe Sam got into the 13th round. Agreed, Krista got into the 12th round. And keep in mind that they're doing 2 fewer reps every round for the ladies because they're doing 12 calories on the rower. I just did it with my athlete, Myra. So she did 12 rounds plus 3 toes to bar, and I smacked 12 rounds on the button. 20 minutes, 12 rounds. I think I paced it almost front to back the exact same.
Every round was roughly the same all the way through. As best
I think I might have. I think I went. The first round was quick, and then settled into a pace, and then that pace kind of just evened out throughout. Myra was actually ahead of me the entire way, and I almost caught up at the end there. I laid down like a significant pace on the last row. I think I was holding about 1,600 to 1,700 calories per hour on the very last row. Throughout the entire workout, I was holding 1,200. 1,200, was the average. There was maybe some in that like 8th or 9th. I might have dipped to like 1190, so I'm going to say low 12s. I used gymnastics grips and didn't take them off, so I rode with them. I did the dumbbell cleans with them, and I did my toes to bar with them. No stopping for chalk or wiping off sweat or anything like that. It was from one station to the other.
Just continuous.
Continuous work. Yeah. It's just, and it's a great workout for a person like me who just, you know how to pace and you know what pace you can hold. So I sat down. I did the toes to bar, did the dumbbell clean and jerks, and sat down on the rower. I go, this is a pace that I know I can hold for 20 minutes. So it's basically a 20-minute max effort test. Because you can't really do too much creeping one way or the other because it's 20 minutes. Now, if this is an 11-minute workout, it's a lot different because that row becomes a lot. That row becomes a lot different.
Yes. And it requires you to dip deeper anaerobically and. So the top 200 bottleneck is probably going to occur with people who are just better rowers. So like if you can get on the rower and hold 1,300 to 1,500, that's going to make it so that you save those 4 seconds per round times 12. Now you're looking with an extra 48 seconds to 48 seconds, you could get a lot done in that.
Yep, toe to bar, dumbbell clean and jerk. You can get an extra, dozen reps in there by putting down a more significant pace. I kept screwing. I'll tell you, if there was one thing that I wish I could redo or do significantly better was hitting 13 calories and then not doing this little, scoop at the end to try and get that thing to turn over. I did that probably 4 times. And it cost you a few seconds.
I saw a few people do that, and I was like, that was a few seconds. I had probably a little energy lost.
Yep. I mean, to be honest with you, though, I think you're sitting there and not really doing anything. So you get up off the rower and then you get on the toe to bar. So it's like a rest. That's the way I kind of consider it because there's no way I'm just like popping up after doing 1,200 calories per hour and not like at least taking a breath. So I took that as the opportunity to like rest there, turn, get on the bar, and go again. So again, this would not be something I would redo if especially because I'm not in that top 20. I just don't see a real benefit to that. It's honestly, if you were to sit down the people who are the top 100 in the region and say, okay, we're going to do a 12-minute max calorie row, I'm pretty sure you would get a pretty similar result. Not a lot of body weight dependent movements not too much of an emphasis on the gymnastic movements. So like the body weight, I think heavier body weights will do a little bit better here. That's just my thought.
Probably because it's just a small component overall.
Yep.
And not enough where it should make that much difference.
Yeah, if that workout's 15 toes to bar, you're going to have a big discrepancy.
Yeah,
but because it was a metabolic workout, nothing's really slowing you down.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, and then like you said, I like the workout.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like the workout. I think you will get a true display of who is metabolically, without too many other factors, elite. When Sam Brigg wins a workout, I believe it was designed correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if that's the goal to test. Yeah. How did you feel afterward?
Not lactate. More of like I'm spent, like aerobically.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
I pushed fairly hard in that last 40 seconds or so, but I had it in me, which was great. Like I had that 1,600 calories per hour in me at the end, so I know I paced it probably pretty well.
Yeah.
If I do it again, if I were to do it again, the only thing I would change is just that little pulls at the end. I think the pacing was pretty spot on. That's it. That's what I got. If you look under the engine and you see V6, that's what you got. If you look under the engine, you got a V12. That's what you got.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty finite of what you could possibly do. There's not much gaming there. It's not like, well, if you break the reps up like this versus this,
right?
Which they are in the past. Like it's happened. Like that 11.1/13.1. That's one of those workouts where it's like, all right, depends on like your pacing might be. You could try a different strategy and increase your score by a significant amount of reps. No real doing that. If you have it, you don't. So, I mean, the 20-minute workout is out of the way theoretically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good one.
The real question now becomes, Scotty, as we finish today's podcast, is what's your prediction for next week?
I'm going to say I'm still thinking handstand walks are going to be in there somewhere. I don't know that they'll be next week, but I'm going to go with probably some sort of muscle ups would be my something with muscle ups this next week. Possibly chest to bar pull ups, but I'm going to go with muscle ups. Maybe the return of the ring muscle up.
The return of the ring muscle up. I like it. Last year was heavy snatches, so I think they're going to bring back the heavy clean. I think we're going to see something like heavy cleans and bar muscle ups.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be that's my prediction.
Yeah,
heavy cleans, bar muscle ups, and a ladder.
Yeah,
and
some
just
sort
like
of tricky
just
form.
get everybody out. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who did okay this first week, the pretenders will be goodbye. My hope is that, for my own athlete's sake, is that they put burpees in amongst a high weight or high demand movement, like a bar muscle up or something like that. Heavy cleans would be great. Heavy snatches would be great with burpees.
Yeah.
Just so that it's not dependent only on size there. Like, I think it was, thrusters, burpees. It's like, well, the bigger athletes are just going to have a hard time there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But we have most of the movement still left on the table, so it's a little bit more difficult to guess what we're doing thus far. The things that you definitely could count on is the fact that thrusters are always left for last week, so you're not going to see thrusters. One last question is, do we see dumbbells again, Scott?
Oh, yeah. We're twice, right?
They had one dumbbell one dumbbell on the first one, then 2 dumbbells on the second one.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes, but later on.
Okay. All right. Bold prediction by Scott Hagnes. He says the dumbbells will coming back. Sean says no, but I think they will bring back the overhead squat.
It's been a long time.
It's been about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
The chest to bar overhead squat workout.
Yep. Yeah.
I think maybe even a dumbbell overhead squat, Scott, which they did do in the regional last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, everything's on the table at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's week 1 of the Open, Scott. You got anything else?
Dumbbell squat snatch. That's what it is.
Shut your mouth, Scott. Don't you dare wish that evil on us.
Hopefully not, but all right.
All right. Well, Scott, you know where you can get me? You get me. I'm Sean LaFleur. You can get me at Sean at CrossFitDelrabeach.com. Scott?
Scott at CrossFitPortland.com.
Beautiful. All right, Scotty. Good luck on the workout if you do it. If not, I love you either way.
All right. Good luck. Talk to you next week.
Later, buddy.
All right.